called him Baba Yaga.
The boogeyman?
Hey everyone, Thordan Smash here, and today we're going to be talking about, well, an upcoming legend in Apex, and that is going to be Artemis slash, Scryer, and that might confuse a couple people because, well, there was a leak back in Season 12 where we got to see how Scryer would play in the game, and today we're going to go ahead and take a look at those abilities, how they match up with her new ability set with her ultimate bow, and so much more. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Artemis. Alright, so let's go ahead and start talking about what, in my opinion, is possibly the most interesting legend getting added in. We know that there is Jester from the leaked list of legends that is from Titanfall 2 that was cut. Scryer seems like the most interesting in terms of abilities in my personal opinion, and just kind of the most fun to play around with in a competitive game. Now their passive is called Spectator, and it will automatically optic hunt and spectate your killer, which I'm surprised isn't in Apex Legends already. There is no kill cam, and this seems like a very unique ability because to be able to use this, you actually have to make your team down an extra player. It's not something that will impact the majority of the game if you never die. So if you're the weak link on your team, Scryer is probably going to be the character your teammates make you pick. I imagine this has to be reworked in some degree though, because the amount of information that it can give is absolutely insane. There has to be, I assume, some kind of timer on this, very similar to the way that Ash can see into death boxes. The tactical is another interesting ability where it releases a parasite trap that reveals the target's vision. Now in the play model of this, they actually use a spider, and it looks like one of the ones from the Halloween event. Now unfortunately, because there's only one person in the firing range, we can't see that perspective, but it definitely seems fairly interesting. It's the wall hack meta brought to the next degree, because not only are you hacking through walls, you can see everything about the team's composition. It will be really interesting if you're able to see what kind of weaponry and then also the types of armor and what's in the player's inventory. But overall, this character is designed to absolutely be the utmost recon character possible, as they are in the recon class. Sadly though, we do know what their ultimate is, and it is called Shadow Wall, where you unleash a creeping wall of darkness that blocks sight and blinds enemies. This is most interesting because apparently this has been scrapped kind of in a way and was moved over to Catalyst, as that is clearly what Catalyst Wall does, and we know from the previous leak that Catalyst originally had just a giant tower she built, so it looks like for whatever reason Scryer's ability that was almost done got completely moved over to Catalyst. So when this character does launch, we should be expecting a completely reworked ultimate, and if you haven't figured it out already, Scryer is most likely going to be Artemis, the upcoming arrow-based legend that is also Vantage's mom, and we'll go over a little bit of the lore in just a minute, but that means we actually have a pretty good idea of what her ultimate is going to be, because it has been leaked that it is a crossbow. Originally it was going to be the Scorpion that releases an automatic crossbow, but now it looks like it's been moved over to Scryer's ultimate, which would make a lot of sense. They've went ahead and moved that Catalyst Wall to, well, of course, Catalyst, then they went ahead and added in the ultimate bow to take over for that, and possibly they will be keeping the same tactical and passive, as Artemis has no information in the data mine files about those abilities. But if she does end up being Scryer, and like I said, we'll go over the lore, it would make sense that this is going to be her tactical and passive. But what I think makes this character the most interesting is what their story is. Now there are two possibilities, and they're based off the character's playtest image, and here we see a gentleman that has a scarred out eye. We don't really know much more detail, but it gives us two major hints, and the reason the eye is a giant hint is because Vantage's mom has a very similar marking on her eye. She was introduced in Vantage's story from the Outland, and the last we saw, she is in a prison. There isn't much else connecting the fact that it could be her. We don't know really any of Vantage's mom's backstory except that she was exiled to a snow planet where we see Vantage, but other than that, the only connecting form is the facial recognition. The other possible one, and this is my personal favorite, is the name Scryer itself, which is the name of the pilot from the Bangalore stories from the Outland, which was fully voiced as he went head to head searching for Newcastle when he was still Jackson and taking down Bangalore as well. And you might be thinking, well, this character died at the very end. Bangalore and Newcastle were able to take him down, and that's another reason it could be him, because all this character's abilities are ghost themed, such as Spectator and Optic Haunt. It could be a simulacrum, it could be a whole number of things. As much as I would like Scryer to actually go ahead and be the guy from the stories from the Outland, because I would love to see more Titanfall content come into the game, it does appear that due to the fact that Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, if Scryer is going to be an upcoming legend still and has been morphed into Artemis, then yes, it is most likely going to be Vantage's mom, and that is the legend we can be expecting. Let me know down below, what are your guys' thoughts on this legend coming in? Do you think that they are Scryer due to the eye, or do you think that Scryer will be a completely different legend and the leaks just didn't work out 100%? Also, don't forget to check out this video right here by my editor Novell, who does amazing Apex Legends content, and until next time everyone, keep slaying the Outlands. I'll see you out there.